Hey everyone, out there in the land of YouTube, Annette Dion here. It's Wednesday. I'm the host and founder of the Psychic News Network. How are you doing on Hump Day? Kind of overcast here today. Discover your courage, the sign says. So it's a kind of the season in the Northern Hemisphere where we're slogging through. And not only are we slogging through the weather just being sloggy and soggy. The wind's going to pick up quite a bit in a little while. But we have a lot to slog through in our government. Cheryl's saying Mitch, Trump has to pay. Hello, yes, here I am. I'm here, Joan. I'm going to level with everybody about what's going on in this country. We have an enemy, and it's internal. The enemy in our country are the Republicans that are working for Putin. I'm just heads up. We have to make that shift in our minds. We have to understand that what we have going on here is that there are Republicans, a lot of them, to the tune of like 147 of them, that are working for Russia. Is anybody confused about that? I just want to know, does anybody not know that? Because it is a switch, because we grew up with a Democratic Party and a Republican Party, and we knew that when they disagreed on things, they got together in a room and they talked about it, and they did a give and take, and they compromised and they negotiated, and they all ultimately had a common denominator theme of doing the right thing for the United States of America, which they swore an oath to defend and protect. Dale Johnson says, not confused, just appalled. Good. Good. If you're appalled, then at least you know what's going on. The Supreme Court is an enemy of democracy. Not all of them, but the majority on the Supreme Court. Those justices are enemies of democracy. And I'm going to tell you something that I saw Alina Habba not too long ago say on some right-wing extremist channel, well, Brett Kavanaugh, Donald Trump did Brett Kavanaugh a favor, so he better know what's good for him and do what's good for him, which is like to not follow the Constitution. So I just want you to all know that I'm here as a public service. And I'm here as a public service volunteer. The way you can support me is donate, become a member, book a reading. But I'm here as a public freaking service. I'm not saying I'm a saint or anything. I'm only here because I have to be here, because I cannot stand to just sit around steeping in how awful this is. I need you all on board. Ketanji Brown Jackson is great. And Sotomayor, and she's okay, and Kagan is okay. Of course, the women. Oh, Joan voted today. By the way, if our primaries are going on now, and if you're in Massachusetts, make sure you vote. I haven't yet, but I will probably tomorrow. Thank you, Warren. Warren appreciates my videos, and that's why I came on 3 years ago. The other thing is, Cheryl's mentioned Biden did great in Michigan, but how much is that in the headlines? Because what I saw was a headline, I think it was the Washington Post. I don't know what the New York Times said, but we don't have a media that's on board with helping us to save democracy. So I'm supporting Biden financially too, Dale Johnson, and I encourage everybody to support Joe Biden financially. Oh, thank you, Barbara. That's sweet. You help us to keep calm and safe as I rant. Yeah, Biden did great in Michigan's. So far, so good. I don't even want to hear late night comedians that I appreciate comedy as much as the next person. I really appreciate comedy. I don't want to hear anything even remotely connected to that Joe Biden is too old to do this job. I don't care how old you are. None of us could do that job. If you're a spring chicken, you wouldn't be able to do that job like Joe Biden. So the Supreme Court has decided to, it would just be like, we'll just tiptoe through the daisies and we'll just take our time. He thinks he's a king. He thinks he's immune. Well, let us just take our time and think it over. We have yachts to go sail on, and we have Winnebagos to park in the Walgreens parking lot and pretend like we live like the poor people. Good Lord. In Washington, they have mail-in ballots. You've mailed yours in. I'm going to pull 3 cards. This is what I'm going to pull 3 cards on to start. I'm going to pull 3 cards on this. Do enough, at least 51% of the American people understand. I'll ask the pendulum, actually. Do enough Americans presently understand that we are not in a functioning democracy right now? For God's sake, they're getting ready to shut down the government on Friday. Is it more than 51% of the American people that understand that things aren't the way that they used to be? I do get that it's more than 51% of the American population. It's more than half. All right, well, I was asking, do they understand that it's not the way that it was? So let's ask something more specific. Do more American people than not know that the Republicans are playing a nefarious fascist game? That's kind of like, well, not quite. Not quite. The shutdown has been extended 1 week. Thank you for the news update. The new crisis in vitro fertilization, that was all about distracting from the Russian spy. Was it Heroes talking about that I get confused about, did I say that at Grassroots Democracy meetings or PNN? 3 cards about the American people and where more than 50% of the American people are in terms of just being in the know. We have to be working our butts off. It's worth it. It's worth it. They did swear in Tom Swozy. Okay, good. Thank you, Moonchild. Thank you for being all of you a breaking news service. So this is about the American people. Do they know? Are they aware that the Republicans are playing a very nefarious game, being all for fascism? There will be a disruption. The more things that pop up that interfere with our everyday lives that are disruptive, the more the people are going to, when things get disrupted, like a border bill, right? That got disrupted. It's the things that disrupt order from happening and bills from being passed. It's those disruptions that bring Americans' attentions to the news that actually do start to get people's attention. It's the disruptions. And you know what? We didn't forget January 6th. Betty's shaking her head. We didn't forget January 6th. I do see rejoice and celebration. So this is pointing to the question being, do more than 50% of the American people have an awareness of what's going on in terms of the Republican Party no longer being the Republican Party, and that they're causing great damage to this country? So I see that with all the disruptions, we're going to be happy that more people get on board, at least, at the minimum. Yes, Christine, very, very accurate. Anything to distract from the slow rolling coup they are trying to pull off. Somebody does understand what's going on. Thank you, Joan. Joan was saying that the meditation was great on Tuesday. While we're on the topic, I want everyone to be aware that I, every single week, host a guided meditation for a healed America. If you're not able to attend, you will, if you sign up, you'll still get the meditation the next day, recorded. So please take advantage of these things. They do work. And Christine, you spot on. It's a slow moving coup. That's why I'm asking, are people seeing what's actually going on? Thomas says he thinks the majority of Americans know what's going on, especially with Republicans. I think you're right. I do think you're right. That's what the cards and the pendulum are showing. Okay, so that's good news. We just have to stay on it. And you're welcome. And I'm going to just share with you what works for me. If I'm watching MSNBC and they're staying on the same topic and they're beating it to death, that topic, like when they do this, well, what do you think the Supreme Court is going to say? Well, I don't know. What do you think the Supreme Court is? I don't know. What do you think the Supreme Court? And I just feel like calling them up. Will you just ask me? Yeah, January 6th isn't over. Yeah, that's very, very true. So I'm so glad to see people get it. Not that I doubted that you guys get it, but I just wondered about the general public. When they do that on the news, I have to turn it off. When they start talking about the loser being in the White House again, I turn it off. I'm sharing with you my stress reduction practices. I will go to my two favorites, Simon Rosenberg, who has hopium, and Jessica Craven, who has chop wood, carry water, because they talk about the data and they talk about the good news and the positivity. So check that out. And Midas Touch, we watch Midas Touch to keep us in check. And just case in point, mainstream media is not doing their job. They're totally attempting to distract the American people. I truly believe that the general population of the American people are smarter than they're thinking that we are. I'm going to pull 3 cards about the media. It's really remarkable that these right-wing extremists think they want to end democracy. It's like they think that's going to be good for them. I don't care how wealthy you are. When you live in a country where everybody is struggling and miserable, that's not much fun. Too bad we can't elect the Supreme Court. Yeah, too bad the people aren't ethical anymore. The media. Okay, let me interpret this for you. These are the John Holland Psychic Tarot. This tarot deck I've used more than any others, I believe. Yeah, they're all worn out. Anyway, hundreds of readings with these. As far as the media is going to start feeling like isolated, in the sense that people are not tuning in anymore. Case in point, how many here? I don't know how to set up taking a survey. But let's just throw the question out there. I'm wondering if you, like me, when there's a primary, when there's primaries going on, like Michigan and Iowa and New Hampshire and South Carolina, when that's going on, do you tune into the news or do you wait till it's all over? I can't even watch it. But I just wonder, my point is, I wonder what that does for their ratings. Because if I want to watch, say, Lawrence O'Donnell, and I know that they're going to be covering the primaries all night with all their anchors there, I won't even watch the news that night. You wait. Yeah, that's interesting, isn't it? Yeah, you wait to hear the results. Do you really have to sit around listening to these talking heads? Just, oh, I wonder what that county is going to turn in for votes. Or, what about that district? And what about this district? And they make Steve Kornacki to be like he's Indiana Jones or something with his cockies. Anyway, all the power to him, but it's just boring. It's just boring. So anyway, my point is the mainstream media is losing their audience, and they're running into a lot of obstacles and challenges. I always know that corporate keeps them in check, saying things that are anti-Biden way too often, and anti-democracy. And the third eye, this is an indicative either that they're going to start calling the psychics to make their news more interesting, which they should. Too much uninformed hype. And the solitude indicates that, yeah, they're kind of isolated. I said a few months ago when I was reading on this issue about the media, because I was asking about whether, like, the pro-democracy channels and the podcasts, and there's so many, if they would start exceeding in numbers the mainstream media, and that's happening. They were making a big deal about the undecided vote last night. I am like, this is normal for Michigan. They make a big deal out of stupid little things all the time. They don't talk about what's substantial. Yeah, so I just wonder how their ratings are on the nights that they cover the primaries for the entire night. It's hard enough when it's a presidential election. It gets old quick. What are you talking about that's on April 20th? I don't know. Yeah, they always say on MSNBC they should read the tea leaves. Is what really April 20th? I lost the plot, you guys. I'll stick to my lane. The third eye chakra is indicating either that they're going to probably start having psychics on the mainstream news. Well, you know what? That's not that much of a stretch, because Fox did it. And so the third eye also means that people intuitively. So this is what I mean by when I say the American people are smarter than they think, than the media thinks. Because we have a pretty good sense that when they're lying, or when they're being misleading. We have a pretty good sense of that. The Supreme Court is hearing Trump's case. I think it's April 22nd. Did they just pick that date just now? I didn't hear that in the past hour. You remember then when they had psychics on for the new year? Cameron is saying? On Fox? Oh, yeah, well, that's what I was talking about, yeah. That's the only time I've seen a psychic on a show. Anyway, we're not going to do a group hug until we have 200 people in the chat. I don't know where everybody is. This video tonight's not going to be very long. Okay. Let's pull 3 cards about the, they had another sham hearing today. So what's happened is we're seeing the pattern, like what's going on with Fani Willis, with the Trump lawyers getting all into her business. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. It's the most disgusting, misogynist, racist, corrupt thing I've ever witnessed in my life. I can't believe McAfee is letting it go on. Actually, we should probably read on that. Yeah, please hit the thumbs up. My numbers are not even going up, so that's why I'm going to cut it short tonight. So in Georgia, they have that going on, where they're completely doing this sham interrogation. I don't know what that was. Anita Hill vibes. Yep. They've amped it up to the max. In Washington, D.C., they brought Hunter Biden back in, even though they know that they've been busted in terms of, like, they've been outed that they're consulting with a Russian spy who's getting lies from Russian intelligence, jeopardizing our national security. And once they found out, because the news broke, Jimmy Jim Jordan and James the Dunce Comer, they just kept proceeding on. Let's just keep going. So if you want to find it on YouTube, you can find a clip of each Democrat coming out of that. I don't know if they call it a hearing or what, with Hunter Biden, where they started asking him ridiculous, stupid questions, the Putin Republicans, and it was a total sham, and it was totally disgusting and embarrassing and humiliating for them, but they have no shame. They have no shame. The light will prevail if we step up. The light always prevails. Elaine, the light always prevails. Always. We have to engage with it and direct it. They plan now on a public hearing for Hunter. Absolute massive waste of time. Absolute massive waste of time. I'm going to pull 3 cards. Patty, you're back. Will Trump be held accountable? Will Trump be held accountable? At all? Tell me more about what you're asking me. I'm looking at these sham hearings. Doubling down clowns. Our democracy is in danger. I don't, you know me, I don't mince words. Our democracy is in danger. As far as the, I'm asking about the Jimmy Jim Jordans and the James the Dunce Comers and all that ilk. I don't think they're going to feel good about what transpires from this. It's really, they're breaking our hearts in this country. I do feel that the will of the Democrats, the solar plexus chakra has to do with will, and this is the power of the Democrats. The Jimmy Jim Jordans and the James the Dunce Comers and the rest of the yahoos. Yeah, fascists do not want our democracy to work. Yeah, scream it wide and loud. Oh, I saw the name Annette in the chat. I'm like, am I in the chat? Hi, Annette. It's up to us to get out in record numbers to vote blue. Yes, and then they're still going to try to say that we cheated. Be ready. Hunter Biden is and always has been just a distraction. Yes. And for that matter, Joe Biden is a distraction. And it's like, sorry, my iris is up. Why, are you swearing or something? I'm a quarter Irish. I understand. You know, half Sicilian, a quarter Irish, the rest is French. I'm glad you can relate to my temper. Joe Biden says that too. Don't get my Irish up. Anyway, the Jimmy Jim Jordans and the James Comers, the Dunce, it doesn't look like it's going to work out too well for them. I mean, the bright side is that Americans are getting really angry. Really angry. Well, you're safe in the chat. You can say, you can swear in the chat, but you might not want to offend people. Marge ordered her Biden-Harris sweatshirt today. Yes, I was wearing it on Monday, and I love it. It's cozy. It's high quality, too. It's not cheap, but you're... Yippee! Yippee! But you're supporting the Biden campaign. So just go to the Biden-Harris website, and it's right there. Oh, group hug time. Thank you for showing me that there's enough people. We need a quorum of 200 people. We're going in for a group hug. Ready? We need to support one another. Group hug! Yay! Yay. All right. John needs help right now. You need prayers? Make sure you come to church on Sunday. We pray for one another there too. Group hug! On another note, I was in the recording studio today and I spent a couple hours and I'm getting ready. Well, I got down a better piano track and I got down a vocal track that are it. And good thing I can work quickly. And I'm getting ready to get a drummer who's amazing, who's played with everybody, who's anybody, and a bass player who played on my last record, who's played with some great bands too. And I'm taking a little break to tell you about my record that's going to be called Songs for Democracy. Each song that I record is going to run about $1,200, which is actually not that much for the band and everything and the studio time. And I'm asking for donations for my record, and thank you to those of you who have. I'll set it up a little formally in the near future. I'm guessing by late spring it should be done. And thank you to those of you who have donated. Anything you put in my tip jar, I will use for the record, and anything that you want to send me, if you want to send a check, your name will be on the CD or whatever hard copy kind of thing that I come up with. So, John needs prayers. What's up? Are you okay? Hang on, let's see what's going on here. Well, John, if you need help, you're gonna have to tell us what you need help with, and people aren't just going to send you money just, like that, because there's too many scammers in the world. All right. So there's that. Let's so Biden is doing great. And there are some really amazing. Think about the normal people that you know. Think about the awesome and normal people that you know. I'm not saying you're a scammer, John. You just didn't make clear what you need help with and what kind of help that you need. And it's hard for me to read the comments when I'm doing psychic readings and everything. Most of the American people are good people, right? I hate to do this. Sorry, did I just put someone in timeout? Right, so most people are good. Oh, you watched Church of Spirituality for thank you! I put so much energy into Church of Spirituality. And it's all free. I'm your public servant right here. I'm pulling 3 cards about the Biden campaign. All right, so I wasn't born yesterday. The Biden campaign. Trapped in fear? A lot of people are trapped in fear. So I'm reading on the Biden campaign. There's a lot of fear out there. There's a lot of fear. This is more about the Biden campaign. You know, our people that are Democrats and doing democracy, they're afraid. And they know the American people are afraid. I mean, they're afraid. I don't mean like they're trembling in fear in their boots. I just mean they fear for this country. Yeah, I put them in timeout. We'll see what happens. I'm not getting just as far as the person who's the person who's in the chat. That's not something a normal person would do. So I put them in timeout. You don't jump into somebody's chat and just go, help, I need gas. And it's not how you do it. Okay, so the trapped in fear, knowing that the American people are really fearful. The Biden campaign is going to put out some new messages. And remember the theme on my calendar here? I'll show it to you. By the way, these are still available on my website at a discount. My niece makes these. And I had Hope Restored. And I have the Hope card. New Beginnings. Trapped in Fear. The Hope card. So this is about the Biden campaign. Obama ran on Hope. Remember? Obama ran on, what did he call it? What did Obama? I know he had Rock the Vote, but there was a Hope slogan, right? Did Bree put the eclipses on the calendar? I noticed you said keep up with the eclipses. I don't know if she indicated the eclipses. There's an eclipse on March 25th. I'm going to read on the Supreme Court ridiculousness. Okay, John has been on other channels doing the same thing. Yeah, that's not cool. But people here are pretty smart, and I send out a little bit of compassion for a little while. But if they keep on keeping on, then it's just like, sorry, this is not the place to solicit for money. Only I get to do that. It doesn't. It's not the place. Just put it that way. 3 cards about. Wait, let's switch decks. Let's go to the Nefarious Characters deck. Excuse me while I sip some tea. If anybody wants to hear my song, I can send it to you via email. And then when I'm famous, you can say, I heard it first. Annette Dion 7@gmail.com. All right. The Nefarious Persons deck. We're going there. $5? You want $5? Damon soliciting. You only need $5? Damon, I think people would pay you the $5. I do. Put your information up there. Put your Venmo up there. Oh my goodness. What a crazy world we live in. What a crazy world we live in. And we like to go crazy together here. Think of all the good people that you know. Think of all the good people in this country. Thanks, Terry. Think of all the good people in this country. Let's all get together. We'll have to put it up there too, Terry, that the tip jar money goes to my record. Let's see. There's 147 members of Congress that are working for Putin. So I'm going to pull 3 cards on their fate over the next 3 months in general. Is it going to get worse or is it going to get better? Damon really wants manicotti. We'll see. Is it going to get worse or is it going to get better for the Putin Republicans over the next 3 months? I have the Five of Wands, which means it's going to be a challenging time. But we've been through times like this before, kind of. The Ace of Wands is the messaging. I feel like the Democrats are going to have really strong messaging, and a lot of it is coming from the Putin Republicans, you know, what we have video clips of. And the Ace of Pentacles. I feel like the truth is going to get clearer. This is as simple as the American people finally catch on that these fascists are tearing our country down. March and April will be very interesting for the Putin Republicans. Yes, especially with the solar eclipse. Watch our show. Kathy Beal and I did a pop-up show the other day. Really good, really informative. All right, the curtain is opening. And it's really healthier to get involved. It's healthier for us all, physically even, to get involved. Grassroots of Democracy. Let's show the Grassroots of Democracy info. We have a discussion group every Thursday. We discuss what's in the news and come to our meetings, grassrootsofdemocracy.com. If you're not able to attend the meetings, you will get the notes anyway if you're on our email list. And Tweet Scotchy said you'd rather have cannoli than manicotti. Well, one is dinner and the rest is the cannoli is dessert. Okay. What you do is you have manicotti and then you have a cannoli for dessert, right? Voters aren't stupid. All right, so this movement after CPAC, after they got up there and they declared they're going to bring democracy to an end, they declared that they didn't really finish on January 6th, so they're going to come back and finish the job. These are the things that we are seeing them saying. So I'm going to pull 3 cards about how far they'll get with that. Thank you to our awesome wrenches. How far they're going to get with that. Stealing our democracy from us. You know, let's think about this, because this is what's coming up. We're a country of immigrants. There are a whole lot of people in America that know what's at risk. Those who are born and raised here, it's a little different. But we do have grandparents and, you know, family members that remember what it was like in other countries, or they know their history. As far as how it's going to go, the Seven of Pentacles is it's going to be kind of hard, but I feel like we're going to start getting messages from our allies. I feel like we're actually going to start getting messages. It might be online. It might be on YouTube. It might be on, I don't know. I just feel like our allies are going to start talking to America about what's at stake. Because I have the World card here. It's Aleister Crowley. He was an interesting dude. I have the World here. And I really see a lot of pushing back against this fascism. And a lot of people are very upset about the Republicans withholding aid from Ukraine. MAGA Mike Johnson, we need to read on him. He has way too much, that little man has way too much power that he hasn't earned. So the Ace of Wands, it feels really dark in here for some reason. The Ace of Wands means there's going to be a stronger message because it's going to come from the rest of the world. The rest of the world is going to be like, hey, dudes and dudettes in America, wake the hell up. They're really talking to Biden? Yeah, I think that's what I'm picking up on. And I actually think they're going to help. Our allies are going to help with the messaging, because I don't think for 1 second that any of our allies, any of our world leaders, I don't think for 1 second that they don't know what's going on. That they don't know that Putin infiltrated America. The Mueller report proved that Russia meddled in the election, and then the loser turned it into Russia. The rest of the world knows. Our NATO allies, they know. They're completely, totally aware that what's happening in this country is a result of Putin. And actually, that reminds me that I did get I am subscribed to Mary Trump's newsletter, and I did get a newsletter. I'll bring it to the meeting tomorrow night, the Grassroots of Democracy meeting. Please join us. Where she said that MAGA Mike has ties to Russia, and I had said that I see ties to Russia, and we're all going crazy. Like, why does this guy not have a bank account? Bill Barr helped to destroy our democracy. A lot of them did. I think that they will regret their actions. So my answer is that as far as how far the fascist Republicans will get, not that far, because the world is going to step in. Kind of read us the Riot Act. Marge kind of wishes the Mueller report would come back in the news so we could use the unredacted version. Well, let's ask if that will happen. Oh, look, people are singing my praises about readings. They're really good. You don't know what you're missing if you hadn't had a reading. No, Mike Johnson is not the 1-6 bomber. The person with the pipe bomb. No, I don't get that. You might have known about it. Is MAGA Mike, is he receiving money? Is he receiving money from Russia? Yeah. Yeah. Thank you, Warren, for the endorsement. So we're back to talking about the pipe bomber in the chat. It's been pretty consistent as far as my impression on that was that it was somebody, it was two people, it was a couple, and they were affiliated with one of the domestic terrorist groups. Do they have no shame? That is correct. Angela, that's correct. They have no shame. They are absolutely shameless. Let's ask, were they born that way? Were they born that way? Thank you, Joanne. Were they born that way? This is kind of like a yes or no. What I get about that is that they're so horrible. It's part of their karmic path. I know it's hard to believe. Australia made a statement today to what I'm talking about. Is that what you're referring to, Barb? Are you in Australia? Do tell. What did they say? Canada also is aware. Yes, the world is aware that Putin has infiltrated the United States. Start calling the GOP government of Putin. The Gurmers of Putin. When I lived in Nashville, people that were always went to the parties where the big record executives were, they were like the Gurmers. The Gurmers of Putin. Oh my goodness. So much to read on so little time. I was going to read on the Supreme Court. I kind of got sidetracked. It happens. Time for tea. So the fires are in. I briefly saw a clip about wildfires. I thought they were in Texas. Is that correct? Thank you, Cheryl. Trump had Russians in the White House. The loser was communicating with the Kremlin the entire time he was in office. And prior to that, Yeah, Putin has tentacles everywhere. Yes, that's true. Not just the United States. That's very true. That's kind of like, I thought everyone knew that. What? Maybe they don't. Maybe you're waking some people up, Electrostorm. Putin has tentacles everywhere. And the tentacles that are like, okay, just going back to what happened in Alabama. What happened in Alabama with them banning IVF, we can read on that, was coordinated to happen at the same time that the Russian spy who was feeding lies from Russian intelligence to the Putin Republicans to use to impeach an American president, to take the American president out of the White House. They didn't want too much of the news media on that. So what do? It was perfect. We'll invent this in vitro fertilization ban. Thank you, Gloria. She likes church and spirituality too. I was going to read on MAGA Mike. Let's do that first. MAGA Mike. Yeah, and a Republican senator has a hold on Tammy Duckworth's bill protecting IVF. They're the enemies of the people. The Putin Republicans are enemies of the people. Thank you, Joan. Is the big wildfire in Texas? Yeah, Christine, I understand what you're saying about the Republicans started this with Reagan school funding. Yeah. They've always been a little horrible, but this is something else. This is something else. MAGA Mike. Thanks for putting the question up. 10 of Cups, plenty and plenty and plenty of evidence against him. He's been receiving money and information from the Kremlin. And this is the Knight of Wands, Joan of Arc. Well, that indicates to me that it will be known. It will be factually known what MAGA Mike is connected, and factually known by the media and the American people. It will be factually known. Yes, the GOP Putins are traitors. And Putin is out to destroy America and Americans. Yeah. Well, let me just tell you, Indigo Babe, is that your handle? I said that exact same thing at one of our Grassroots of Democracy meetings because I was attempting to figure out the connections that all these Putin Republicans have and what's going on there. And the ultimate goal and what's been promised to these heinous individuals in our Congress, what's been promised to them is, this is how I got it, is dominion over segments of the United States, like that the different American states would be part of the Russian Federation. I'm not saying that they will succeed. I'm saying what the plan is that I psychically picked up on. They have the Putin Republicans have been promised dominion over different territories of the United States. I'm not saying it's going to work. I'm just saying what I pick up. They've been promised dominion, these individual Putin Republicans, over segments of America broken up into different states and being part of the Russian Federation. Russia's meddling in our election. Well, that's what they've been doing. And Russia has been meddling with people's heads, with people's brains, through cult mind control via social media. There's a testimonial up there from John. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate that. Very much so. So we pray every single Sunday. There's a prayer that I wrote months ago, a couple of years ago, that we say, an affirmative type of prayer for America. Mimi's moving. Well, you heard about the family. Well, it was for totally different reasons that weren't great, that were really awful. I was on, I think it was Friday, and somebody put in the chat about this family that was in Canada, and they were really staunch, I don't know, right-wing Christians. You guys probably heard the story. And they needed to get away from the wide acceptance of LGBTQ people, and they were terrified about that. So they sold their farm. They transferred their money, really their life savings, their life, what they were going to live on, to a Russian bank. They moved their entire family, the poor kids, to Russia. And Russia confiscates their money, and now they're stuck there. So I'm just responding to somebody saying, if that happens, if we become the Russian Federation, I'm moving. Where would you go? And if you want to go to New Zealand or Australia, it's really important to get everything lined up for that. Because I don't know how easy it is to just get citizenship somewhere. Will that family ever get back to Canada? I don't feel good things for that situation. We could maybe read on it if we're curious. 7 kids. Yeah, it was awful. Marge would go to Canada. My ancestors are from Quebec, so I should start looking into it, huh? 3 cards about. Did I read about MAGA Mike yet? Suddenly I'm lost. Okay, I'm just like, we're all figuring out where we're going to move to. Kalani sent me an article about that the other day. Oh, I don't know if I got that one. I don't know if I read it. Yeah, my great-grandfather that I never met was from Quebec, and his whole family, and they were all musicians and vaudeville performers, and I think I'm related to Celine. Distantly. Quebec, yes. Did I read on MAGA Mike? I did, right? Help me out. I'm lost in space. Damon's going to go. Where are you going to go? To Canada? I have so many questions on my mind that I'm just going to let you guys throw a question up. Oh, here's Thomas with the dad jokes. Isn't this the first one? Only one more? The rotation of the earth really makes your day. All right. I said I wasn't going to stay too long because. The long game, they would got off topic. No, it's fine. It's fine if you get off topic. We're just hanging out. We're just a pro-democracy clique. We hang out 3 times a week and then some. And I'm here to drum up business, and I'm here to get you all to be feeling like we're all in this together. And Fani Willis decision. That's a good question. If NATO fails, it's all over but the crying. It's not a question. We're having a big storm tonight. Fani Willis decision. I always felt like she would stay on, but we'll read the cards about it. Actually, because we're going to read about Fani Willis, I don't want to read the nefarious cards because we're going to call them the nefarious cards because she has good energy. I believe in the goodness of the American people to save this country. Even your good vibe. Anne's ticked off tonight. Yes, that's why I said, Anne. We're all the anger is in the air. People are fuming. People are paying attention. I did read on that earlier. We should have a segment of the positive Dems, Biden accomplishments of the day. I know I meant to do little videos about that. He won big in Michigan. He also won really big as a write-in in was that South Carolina? He won. People wrote in Biden in New Hampshire. I drove by the gas station today, and gas had dropped about 50 cents. You guys can provide that. Help me with my public service, like you do. The Fani Willis situation. I mean, that's these trials, these hearings, these ridiculous sham hearings. What do I always say? They think they're in Russia. It's exactly what they do in fascist countries. No, we wouldn't accept. Yeah, most people, Glenna, in the United States are good people. This is a great country. You're in Canada, I know. Canada's a great country too. There are a lot of great countries. A lot of brilliant people. A lot of very evolved people. A lot of wonderful, compassionate, kind, loving, fun. There's a lot of beautiful people in this country and in this world. And just let's reflect. When you think about the loser, whom I haven't talked at length about tonight, which is good. It's better that way, for now. When you think about any one of them, do you think that Marjorie Taylor Greene has a beautiful, fun life where she gets to hang out with really cool people? Do you think Lauren Boebert gets to hang out with really cool people? Do you think that Matt Gaetz has really cool, wonderful people around him and has a great life? But I'll tell you somebody that has a great life and great people around him, Joe Biden. And me and you. Right? And we have each other. So these people are not happy, and they're filled with fear and loathing. And love is stronger. Fani Willis. I'm glad I picked these cards. This is going to make a difference in her sense of resolve and her sense of rebooting her spiritual self, her spiritual life. We are family. Somebody's putting that up there. Innocent Potato. I like your handle. The people that are God-centered in whatever way you perceive God to be are going to end up on top. And this is about Fani Willis. This is transforming her. It's, when we go through the fire, we come out. I mean, if you use the analogy of a knife, being made, and you have to fire it and work on the blade and everything, you become sharper. When you go through the fire, you become sharper. When you're a stone or in raw form, a precious stone in raw form, it gets tumbled and tumbled and tumbled and tumbled, and that increases its value and it becomes more beautiful. When we have to push back and fight and fight and fight with the darkness and take a stand for love and fight and fight and fight and fight, we become extremely powerful. So whenever the news is really getting to you, remember that the mainstream media is designed to get to you that way. They do that to keep you coming back for more, but it's not really working. It's not really working. And these people that are causing all this horribleness are very unhappy humans. We will win. Love is guiding Joe Biden. Yeah, so as far as Fani Willis, this is strengthening her resolve. She knows full well it was a slinging you-know-what fest. And yes, it hurt. Yes, it was terrible. Yes, she probably wishes she never went on a date with that guy, but not because that she doesn't care about him, because of how they used it. Not sorry, like she wouldn't do it again, but you know what I mean. They used it. They would have used something else. Just like if there was another Democrat in office right now, You know, that's just what the fascists pick on. It's not even personal about Joe Biden. They use his age and they bash him for stupid, like slurring his words or stuttering because he has a stutter. They use all they can to bash him, but it could be any Democrat as a president. These people hate democracy. The other day at CPAC, they said, "We're gonna kill democracy." The exact words were that we're gonna end democracy. Well, why would you want to end democracy if you were a happy, free person? But the thing about them is, if they're miserable, their number one quest is to make you miserable. So think about that the next time one of your people that don't like you attack you. The reason they're attacking you is because you're a good person. Put that in your pipe and smoke it. Trump is demented. Yeah, Cheryl, you're absolutely right. So as far as Fani Willis, I have the crown chakra. This is sharpening her. The racism and the misogyny. I mean, that's not a woman that just takes it. And we did read her chart. Kathy read her chart. Well, I don't read charts, but that's a strong. Fani Willis is a strong woman. They hated Carter, Clinton, and Obama. Yeah, because they hate people that are good. Because that's what evil hates, right? So just knowing what we're dealing with here. It looks like Fani. Yeah, it kind of does, right? It kind of does. In the crown chakra. That's somebody who's divinely guided. Have faith and take heart. We have a lot of divinely guided people in our government. Attack back with love and forgiveness. Well, we can't really attack back with love and forgiveness. And as far as that whole forgiveness topic, it doesn't mean that you're like, it's okay what you did. That's a lot of misinformation. That's not what forgiveness is. Forgiveness is you might never talk to them again in your life because you're protecting yourself. You're protecting your peace. But we don't have to go around like toxifying our systems with hatred. I can't tell you how many people in my life, I'm reading tea leaves in a sec. I can't tell you how many people in my life that have been horrible to me made me up my game. Because it made me clearer about what I really stood for and what I knew I didn't stand for. Mood lighting dad joke. Mood lightning dad joke. What did the buffalo say to his son when he left for school? Bye, son. You get a bow. Throw your dad jokes up there. Everyone. Where did Warren go? I haven't seen him in a few moments. Don't understand why don't bring Joe Biden number and sound terrible. But what? I can't read this. Don't bring Joe Biden number and sound terrible. I became not believe that I not watch them anymore. That sentence is nonsensical. Like I don't understand what it means. Okay. Oh, I'm going to read some tea leaves. Gloria forgives but does not forget. Why you just forget? Just forget. Don't you have a reading booked? Thomas, thank you for bringing the jokes, as always. Before I read the tea leaves, I just want to say that I'm at a point of mega frustration. It's all love. It's not about you guys. It's about YouTube and the algorithms. It's the thing that brings me back is that I love you guys and I love going over the news because we're here together. I'm not going anywhere. I really need your help. I really do. I really need your help. This has been over 3 years and my numbers are not going up. And I'm not going to affirm that. My numbers are going up and this is how I'm making them go up. Please hit the thumbs up. I always forget to hit the thumbs up on like Midas Touch, but they have this really cool thing going. Have you hit the thumbs up yet? And you know, like, we got to get all those fancy things going. Please share my videos when you feel like there's an important message. Invite people to subscribe. Please subscribe. Thank you, Barbara, for asking how you can help. Please donate. Please book a reading. Just please book a reading. I mean, it's not like you won't get a ton of information from it. I have some classes that I'll be scheduling coming up in the near future, so keep an eye out for that. But it's a win-win. When you employ me, this is what I do for a living. When you employ me, then I'm helping you. That you're like hiring me, and I will be helping you. And I'm really, really good at it. So thank you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being here. And Ann sent me a few people. Yes, and I'm not negating the help. All of you, please know that I so appreciate it. I've got a few checks that I need to get to the bank and deposit. People have sent me. People are sending me help for my record. I'm just saying that I really need for it to grow and to build. The Church of Spirituality sermons blow my mind. And they come through me. They blow my mind. I'm telling you God's honest truth. And it's not about Jesus and making you believe things. I mean, I mentioned Jesus here and there. It's about we are human beings that are really spiritual beings in human form. So let's help one another as best as we can. The people that you know, I'm not talking about me right now. The people that you know that are giving their all. Look at Joe Biden. For you. Joe Biden didn't have to run for president. He saw what happened in Charlottesville and that young woman getting killed and these domestic terrorists going around with tiki torch. Jews will not replace it. And Joe Biden was just like, yeah, well, but I have the experience. I need to do this. Thank you, Deborah. And he wasn't going to, he didn't want to run for president, but when he saw that, he said, I have to do the right thing. Support the people that are getting out there and they're doing their public service. Otherwise, the evil gets highlighted. And I know, I've heard, not that I've checked them out, that there are fake psychics on YouTube that promote the loser, that are fans of the loser, that say that he's the second coming and and God has appointed him as David, and the reason he's imperfect is because God made him imperfect. Give me a break. And they have lots of followers from what I've heard. So, I forgot about the tea leaves. I'm off my soapbox now. Biden was worried about Americans and America. There are many, many reasons to be concerned, but when we're all together, we win. Oh my God, he's insane. They're stuck in Russia. Yeah, you're right. Anyway, what do we have? We have Mars, and we have a big. There's definitely a bird. I'll show you. That looks like a dove. It's hard when I turn the cup. Right there. That looks like a dove. The way I'm looking at it. That looks like a dove, which is peace. That looks like a bow, which is a gift. And under Mars, I see something that looks like a big gun, and I'm thinking that that's Ukraine getting the munitions that they need. A woman whose long hair is blowing in the wind. Yeah, that would indicate highlighting the women. And we're going to have a little lucky something that's going to happen in the near future. A little lucky kind of, a little lucky break for the DOJ, it looks like. And before we go, I know that I promised you that I'd read on the DOJ. So I'll pick a card about the DOJ. We have in Saturn, we're learning a lot of lessons. This is Saturn, the Saturn part of the cup, and I see it like a that looks like a beaver, like the animal, the beaver. Let's see. The beaver would mean like hard work. Let's see. Yeah, it looks like I'm going to look up a different animal that's like in the same family. Like it looks kind of like a squirrel. The squirrel means a hard-working person or phase in our lives. However, there may be too many different projects going on at the moment, and you might be scattering your energy just as a squirrel buries its nuts all over the place. Establish your priorities and make some time for yourself. Yeah. Establish your priorities and make some time for yourself, it says. Okay. Because I mentioned that I'd read on the Supreme Court, and I don't think I really did. I'm just going to pull one card from the Nefarious deck and ask, are they going to err on the side of goodness? I know it's a lot to ask. The Tower indicates things are going to get disrupted on the Supreme Court. All right, I'll pull another one. How do you book a reading? See that QR code? You just scan it with your phone. It's psychicannetteDion.com. I should probably put my website address up there too for people that don't know about QR codes. And the Ace of Wands. Okay. This is about the Supreme Court rocking, causing disruption. One more. The Tower looks good. Yeah, one more. I just want to get more clarity because it could be. Yeah, I'm getting more that it's disrupting the loser, not giving him immunity. And I have the Seven of Pentacles. They've been working hard, and it just feels like they're not going to give the American people exactly what they want, but they're not going to give the loser exactly what he wants either. So that's, yeah, it's kind of 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. It doesn't feel, and I got that before too about the Colorado situation. Anyway, and that's the way it is. Thank you for coming. Please hit the thumbs up on your way out. Be good to yourself. Take breaks and read optimistic, like Substacks. I'm on Substack now too. It's Grassroots of Democracy group. Please join us. Did anyone see a witch on a broomstick in the tea leaves? Oh, okay. Yeah, well, that would make sense. A lot's going to happen in October, too. It'll be right before the election. Yeah. And if you saw a witch on a broomstick, that's about transcending things. Stay positive. All right, we'll see you soon. Namaste. Be well. Be good to yourself. Bye.